Good morning, everyone. I hope you brought your cup of coffee or tea or whatever you intend to drink during this time around the breakfast table. Um, we've had a great guest for you today. She's does all kinds of wonderful things, and she is going to tell you how she got to where she is. But before I do that, I'm Carol Henderson with Life by Design. I help you to design your life so that it can be better and more fulfilling in the second half of your life. And I want to introduce my wonderful co-host, Miss Barbara Ellison.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I'm Barbara Ellison. I'm a transformational life trainer, and I work with people because aging is not about being a 20-year-old. It's about being the best ever version of you. And so that's what I work with you, and just to enjoy to make the rest of your life the best of your life. And I have to share with you, I am so excited to have my friend Rita on the line with us today. Rita and I have known each other for several years, but we've realized in the last little bit that her things are ready, my things are ready, and so we're ready to work together. And it's like so exciting. And you can tell she's the funnel godmother. And so, Rita, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I want to know, does she have a little wand with a star on it? She
She
can
has a wand and a
tap us on the
crown.
head and have us be all fixed.
I do, yes. And that disappears on Zoom though. So it's kind of strange looking if I wear it on a Zoom call, but I have a crown and I have a little wand, and I'm just so thrilled to be here. Good morning, and hey, thank you for having me. And I'm already loving your audience that I didn't bring my coffee cup with me today, but we're having our coffee and getting our day started, and I'm just thrilled to be here, and thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah,
coming on.
we just get together, and talk about the things that women talk there, or that people talk about, just how we got to where we are, our ups and downs. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, and just share your journey of where you came from and how we know each other. And it's going to be fun.
Back when I was a kid, the women would all get their kids ready for school. My mom was a teacher, so she didn't participate, but they get their kids ready for school and send them off, and they'd sit around the breakfast table and have coffee and solve each other's problems and help each other. And it was a community and a collaboration. And we lost that when so many women went to work. That kind of became a thing of the Leave It to Beaver days. And then COVID hit and everybody was locked down, and it got even worse. And then now we decided to do it on Zoom. So, it doesn't matter where we are, we can get together for our little morning chat.
And isn't it amazing that here's me, I'm in Illinois, you're in Texas, Rita's in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And yet
There's no time or distance.
There's no time or distance. So that's one of the beauties of living now. And it's for such a time as this that all of us are in business.
Amen.
That is so perfect. And I got to tell you, I think the way Barbara said, that she and I have known each other for a while, and we've started to get to know each other, which is great because we built that know, like, and trust factor. And then when everything aligned, and she was ready to start using automation, and I have the product that she wants to use, then we jumped right into a business relationship because we already knew each other. And that was just from spending time similar to this in Zoom groups and just knowing some of the same people. And I'm just thrilled that we have been able to, as a society and as a business community worldwide, adapt so well to just switching all this stuff to be online. And Lord help me, I don't know if I would ever be able to meet Barbara or you, Carol, if not for Zoom, and if not for the way the world went a couple of years ago,
Right.
That's true. That's true. And Barbara and I knew each other for several years before, but it was because we were spread out. We were in the same little mastermind group, and that's how we met. And then because of the lockdown, a lot of people started using Zoom, but we were already kind of familiar
We
with
were already
it,
using it.
comfortable with it. But because of that, we've had a chance to meet in person several times and travel cross country together.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
it was really, really fun.
Oh, that's a story I would like to hear.
Oh,
And you could join
parts of it were hysterical. Literally. Literally. Oh, yeah. Just you don't, you have to laugh at the funny things that happen in life.
Yeah.
And so on our way, because we went to Texas, and then we drove across the desert in the summer.
Oh,
Well, my air conditioning, it would flip off at 75. Anything, it wouldn't work if it was over 75 degrees while we were driving through the desert. Well, of course,
and it worked great if it was below 75.
if it was below 75, it would freeze us out. Freeze us out. But there's us driving through the desert. We got to the point where we just said, all right, we have to laugh.
Yeah.
Because it was 100 degrees, but
Plus.
we were driving with no air conditioning.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
And at one point,
and one time I have a towel I keep, and I put it over my lap when I'm doing my makeup or eating harder. And I had it in the window for the sun, didn't I? And then we rolled the window down and the towel went out. And so from the side of the road, it's my special black towel that fits my lap and fits my car. And we're down the road looking for it.
Oh.
It was a riot. And then at one point we were, three things that you need when you're driving, especially in the desert. You need gas, you need water, and you need a ladies' room.
Yes.
It took us 4 times to get to those 3 things.
In one place. In one place.
We were in one town. But one place didn't have water, one place didn't have the water, we didn't have the washrooms. Like, so the whole trip was like this.
Yes, it was crazy.
So all we did was laugh.
But we may be doing that again in April if you want to go. Oh, and I've got to tell on Barbara. She has a large car. I mean, we could put 4 to 6 people in it.
Yes, that's true.
And I mean, we could drive across country with 4 or more in it. But she has the back end. It's an SUV loaded with stuff she keeps in her car at home.
Because I use it all the time. I used it yesterday.
Yes. She goes to people's houses and cut their hair for them and color and perm and all these things when they can't get out. Well, she drove to Texas with that stuff in her car.
I never even thought of taking it out.
So we picked a friend up at the airport, and he had golf equipment and golf clubs. He had his luggage. We had our luggage. Our stuff had, by that time, because by then we're over in Utah, and our stuff had spread everywhere, and we're trying to fit him in.
It morphed and multiplied, probably, right?
It did. And somebody said, oh, will you come to the house, but I may not be here because I've got to go to the airport. And I'm going, we're driving by the exit to the airport. Can we just stop and get him? Because we know him. And so we did, but we didn't get him fit in. Because I mean, when I say she had stuff, we're talking big totes, those big totes of stuff in the back of her car.
Don't even need, right?
And I told her, I said, if you come back, that stuff can't be in your car.
But we laughed. It turned out to be just a funny trip. So
it was a wonderful trip. Absolutely wonderful.
Anyway,
this show's about you, and we're sitting here taking up all your time.
We had a similar trip. My daughter has 2 daughters, and my son has 2 sons. And so my son had been in the Air Force. He'd been stationed in Japan, and he had come back to the States, and he was in New Mexico. And my daughter and I, we both live in Tennessee, and we were just like waiting for that plane to land. So we're ready in the car. Like, we're driving 22 hours straight through to New Mexico. We stopped for gas, but
right.
We didn't stop and sleep. And so my daughter really likes to be the one driving. She's just more comfortable that way. And I'm like, as long as you stay awake, I'm good. I'll play with the girls. And so the girls were something like 6 and 8 or something, really young. And I brought these sticker books. So it's got stickers on some pages, and then has these empty pages, or you put the stickers and you tell a story, right? So I thought, oh, that's going to entertain them for hours. So I gave it to them about an hour into the trip. And my daughter and I were talking, and I look back, and I'm not kidding you, every single sticker was, on their faces, on their arms. And it was so funny. I took a picture of it. I was just thinking, this is as far as possible away from what I thought you were going to do with this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
they had this song that they were singing, and it would crescendo and get real loud, and then they would start over and sing it again. And now I know what my parents went through when we were kids, because we used to do the same thing. And my daughter said to me, Mom, do something, like make them stop doing that. And I turned around and I said, listen, we've only been on this trip for about 2 hours, and I'm just about ready to crawl out the window. And that little one, the youngest one, she goes, "You're going to crawl out your window?" And I said, "Well, no, not really." And she goes, "You're going to crawl out my window?" No. Jeez. And so then, of course, we all start laughing, and then it all starts over again with these 2 little girls, and it's preposterous that I thought that a sticker book was going to entertain them for very long.
Okay. And how we learn. And that's what Carol and I, you have 2 choices. You're either going to laugh or cry.
Yeah.
Like when we realized the air conditioning was just really not going to be working, we just said, oh, well, we just laughed.
Yeah.
And I even had one of those little Arctic air things that we took with us, because we realized it was kind of doing funny things before we left Texas. And one of those little square boxes that you put the water in, and they tell you how cool it makes you.
Yeah.
It helped, but not that much.
Just adding humidity, right? To the
Well, that wasn't a problem. Humidity was welcome. We were in the desert.
It was just, oh yeah. Anyway, so tell us, Rita, tell us your story, and tell us
We
how
know we know you have a daughter and a son, and they have 2 daughters and 2 sons.
And I was raised in Ohio. I used to say that I grew up in Ohio, but I really grew up when I left Ohio. So that is true, though. I was raised naive. So when I left Ohio, I joined the Air Force myself. And so I got to go to Germany and California, and I went to the language school out there in Monterey and learned to translate Czechoslovak, lived in Germany. It was amazing. And so I also learned to take pictures as a hobby, and I loved photography as a hobby. And so many years later, I started a business doing event photography. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this, and then I'm going to just do this for a living, right? So be in charge of my own time and be with my children as they're grown up. Well, it took 12 and a half years, and I still couldn't ever leave my day job. And it's because I didn't have, like, I had I had great gear, I have great talent, I have a good personality, so I can work with people and sell, and I had everything you need for a great photography business, except I did not have a business running underneath it. And so I had to find all the systems that I needed. And that in itself was a movie. I mean, I ended up just like literally crying with my head in my hands, just crying, thinking, I'm never going to be able to quit my job. This is just too hard. And then I discovered that is a software package that just has everything you need all in one place. So I got that software. And in only 10 months after that, I was able to quit my job. After 12 years of struggle, then only 10 months later, I was able to quit my job. And it's been just as good as I thought it would be. Like just 2 or 3 days ago, I went down to my son's house. He lives 6 hours away from me. My daughter lives 1 hour away. And so I was able to just work from his house. He works from home. I just worked my business from his house when the boys were in school. When they got home from school, we just had a regular, normal evening together. And I always miss that because whenever we would visit my son, it would always be for a party or celebration, or the whole entire family comes together. So you got anywhere from 8 to 15 people in, and it's kind of chaotic. And I really just wanted to have just everyday normal life with them. And I'm able to do that now. That's just one thing, and my mom, she did pass away almost a year ago, but before that, I was able to just sit with her and spend time with her and watch her nursing care, watch over her and make sure that they're taking good care of her. I mean, I was there with her and running a business. And it's been exactly what I thought it would be and more. So, and I know how blessed I am because there's so many people that still are on that, stuck in that day job and they still want to be running their business. So
That's
And then you
great.
get people like me that have finally realized that I'm doing too much. That there are some things that are repetitive motions that you do not have to do yourself.
Amen. That's right. That's exactly.
And I find, part of it is I wasn't ready for it. Part of it was you didn't have all of your systems in place. You had your systems, but not your courses. And this couple of weeks, a week or so ago, it was like, oh, Barbara, for heaven's sakes. I saw Rita got her funnel godmother stuff, and I went, oh, I bet she's ready now.
Yes.
And then, and Rita was on another show this morning called Wow Wednesday and talking about that. And it was like, yeah, this is great because now I've got my ducks in a row of what I want to have automated. I know what I need to have automated. And it's a match made in heaven. And so just having that realization that this is not an expense to you, it's an investment in your team.
Yeah, not a luxury.
Now it's right. This is going to free up my time to do the things that I want to do. Which is, do podcasts and do shows. That's what I love to do. I don't want to do anymore the behind the scenes stuff that I've been doing. I mean, we had to do it. We have to do it.
No,
however, but you get to the point where now is the time for me to just say, hey, you know what? I'd rather have a virtual assistant do it or have an automation do it.
Well,
Exactly.
it's like having a dishwasher and
Exactly.
a maid, things that doesn't have to have your personal touch.
That's
You know,
right.
you throw the dishes in and it's done for you. You have the maid. I mean, when my boys were young, the rule was the day she came, and I've got to say, we were advised when our children were young that that's the best thing, and take note of this, young mothers, the best thing that you can do when your children are little is to have a housekeeper. And they don't have to come every day, but once a week, probably with little kids, twice a week if you're
That's what I did.
just the two of you and up, and up or older, just to do all the mundane things, the dusting, the vacuuming. And I love
Cleaning the bathroom.
The
Yes.
baseboards, the bathrooms,
Yes.
Cleaning the
And
bathrooms.
ceiling fans.
to tell the story, when I had three boys and they were all three under 3. So I disinfected
Yes,
the room
she was
daily.
crazy.
Yeah.
Let's just say it. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
In
Daily.
3 years.
Yeah. But anyway, but I knew that Keith goes, why is it so important to you? I mean, he wasn't saying don't do it. He was just saying, what is it about it? I said, I know that on one day of the week, I can have people over and the house will be clean. It will be, everything done. And as they got older, I said they all had their jobs, and I refused to go behind them and redo them because that just teaches them to do it badly. People say, well, just do it for them. I said, no, they need to learn how. I mean, my boys can cook, my boys can clean, they can even sew, mend if they need to, and things like that. But, I said, that just teaches, that's like starting your meetings late. And then you teach people to be late to the meetings because they start coming later and later and later. You know, if they
Exactly.
come and they miss that first 5 minutes, they know to be on time the next time. But it gave me such peace of mind to know that it was done. But that morning, the rule was you get up early enough and you get all your sheets off your bed and put them by the washer. Now, she'd wash them or I'd wash them, you know, however that, I don't remember now, but probably she washed them and put them back on the bed. And so that they were done and the beds were made, and once a week their sheets were clean, and just little things like that. So young mothers, it's valuable. It is absolutely,
I can't imagine
I'm
if
going
I
to say
had that when I was a
mandatory.
young mother.
Yeah, I mean it's worth getting a side gig. It is worth cutting out coffee with your friends at Starbucks and
It's
things like that to
totally-
have a housekeeper. And so this automation is the same. I just haven't figured out what I need to automate. That's
A lot of people, yeah, they ask that. Yeah, exactly.
That's where Rita comes in. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
Barb, we could do this.
Yes.
Yeah, and we need to talk, you know. The other thing is I'd love to have a housekeeper, but I live in the middle of nowhere and I haven't been able to find one.
You'd have to
I
pay
mean,
them travel pay to get there.
I know, Barbara, how we need to yeah, she's going, I'm not gonna come clean your house.
It was very fun to visit, though. I mean, her chickens are hysterical.
They are.
You just have to laugh at them. So Ginger,
Okay, can I tell a story on Ginger? You
Yeah.
tell them about Ginger, and then I've got a quick story.
well, Ginger, I mean, she's just an interesting chicken. Let's put it that way. She's a cross beak.
Yeah,
yeah.
So her beak is funny.
So
And so while I was there, she was molting. So her tail feathers, she had like 3 feathers, just
and they were spikes. They were
and they were just spiked. But and in fact, I think we did a Facebook Live. It's like, it doesn't matter, ladies, it doesn't matter what you look like sometimes. You just strut your stuff. If you know you've got it, you just strut your stuff.
And the thing is that the
With
roosters all
confidence.
believe it. I mean,
And the roosters believe it. And
they
there
think she's the
so
hottest thing on the playground.
we took pictures of this chicken, and she was literally strutting her stuff.
Yeah.
And the roosters were like, and it was like such a good life lesson. It's like, you know what? So many women have been given a bill of goods that we're not worthy, we're not, that we're not this, we're not that, we're too fat, we're too slow, we're too short, we're too whatever. And no, we're not. We are
fearfully
gifts.
and wonderfully made.
We are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
And so we got the lesson from that chicken. Her name's Ginger.
Well,
when you're feeling maybe less than, or you're doubting yourself, or something happens, you need to remember there is someone looking up to you that thinks that you are the bomb.com.
Yeah.
And
you're the Gingers of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And just say today I'm a ginger, so someone's looking up to me.
Yeah. Well, I was out of town last week, and Ginger, I swear, in her little chicken brain is waiting for me to kick the bucket so she can have Keith. Yeah. I mean, sounds crazy, but is it not evident, Barbara?
It's evident.
It's evident. And she'll even come and walk around the house, and we have big windows, and she'll sit and look in the window at him. And start thinking and stuff. But this morning I have on this fuzzy sweater, and this morning I got dressed. This was in the closet. It was clean. Okay. I put it on, in about 30 minutes, maybe an hour later, I was in the kitchen getting ready to leave, and this one little piece of hay fell off of somewhere on my body onto the floor. And I thought, Keith, was Ginger wearing my sweater this weekend while I was gone?
Oh my God.
We joke about that. She just waits for me to leave so she can go hop up on my pillow. Of course she doesn't. But
tolerates you, doesn't she?
Exactly.
Yeah. And she's the funniest chicken. But I mean, we used her for a couple of life lessons.
Oh, that is so
Just
great.
be confident. Be confident. It doesn't matter whether you're molting, because I mean, she was ugly chicken right at that minute
All
because she
the
was
feathers off
molting.
her back were gone.
No, she had no
Tail was
back
like,
feathers.
she has feathers now. They have finally, her tail feathers finally grew in just this last month or so.
Oh wow, yes. But it was just a riot, and then she was, and you knew that when Keith went out the door, there was Ginger right there at the door and had her own perch and the whole 9 yards, and it's just a riot. But we can learn things from
That is fantastic. I love it.
yeah. So
It's
just
true. It's true.
life lessons.
And Ginger has automated things. She'll walk out and all of a sudden food appears before her. Special food for her, not for the other chickens, but for her. She has automated Key to feed her special food because of her little
that's
cross
great.
beak. And you know,
Oh.
she's very light and she was not as big as the other chickens ever, but we realized after a while, we missed it in the beginning, but that she was a crossbeak and she couldn't peck the grain as well or as easily. And so we had to start giving her food in a little bowl so that it was deeper instead of scattered on the ground.
So she could use the bowl to force it in her.
Yeah, but now she's great at catching grasshoppers. She'll scoot do the chicken slide, the chicken drift. There's not Tokyo drift, but the chicken drift, running around the porch chasing grasshoppers in the summer. She loves one of her favorite
It must
things.
be delicious, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
But it just shows that learn something from someone else or from something else. Life lessons are all around you.
That is so true.
And so many people just say, what? It's like, well, why should I listen to them? They're just brand new in the business. I have learned so many things from people who are brand new in their business because they're coming into it with such joy of, oh, let's try this.
Yes. Just gusto, just hair on fire.
Their hair is on fire.
Come watch them burn.
And Barbara, I learned one tonight. So Carol, Barbara and I were on a training call earlier to use the software. Well, it just turned into a disaster. 2 people couldn't get logged into the software. And I don't know if you knew this, Barbara, but I was feeling horrible. I was embarrassed because the people on the training call weren't getting what they came for. And I kind of felt ownership of the software's not working. And I was just on the verge of apologizing to everyone on the call. And Barbara piped up and said, oh, I'm just so glad we're here with you and not alone. And I thought, oh, they're happy. Like, it's not they're happy that this is happening. They're still happy with me. And I'm thinking,
yes.
Oh, I was trying to own all this bad
angst
and angst about what was happening. And they were happy because I was there helping them and they weren't alone. And I thought, wow, that's a big lesson right there.
But there's another lesson that I'm hearing as an outsider to that event is we can always bring joy and happiness to
anything.
Joy is not happiness. Joy is more of a deep, abiding entity, for lack of a better word, but it's, the joy of the Lord is our strength. But joy, and her comment, it didn't necessarily bring you happiness, like, oh, we're at Disney World, but it brought you joy in that you were still valued, even though things were not going what you thought as perfect. So we need to all take a note of that we need to look for the opportunities to bring joy to someone's life.
That is so true.
Yeah. And and so often I think people think it, they say, well, I thought of saying it. Well, yeah, okay. If it has come into your mind to give someone a compliment, then just open your mouth and do it.
It's free.
It's free. Smiles are free. Carol and I talk about that all the time, quite often.
Yeah.
Smiles are free.
And that was the hardest thing for me to learn as a teenager, was to smile first. Because when I relax, look at this.
Right.
See how my mouth goes down? And I look like I'm angry or sad. And people come up and go, "Are you okay? Are you sad?" I go, "Well, no, I was resting my face." You know? I mean, my husband occasionally will even ask that. But I have a friend and her mouth naturally turns up. She could cuss you out and tell you upside down side every which way to go. And people go, "Thanks, Sherry. I appreciate it."
She's just
Because her
nice.
little mouth turns up. You know, I can say, "Oh, you are wonderful. I just love you." And they go, "Well, she's a real."
What a crab.
So I've learned to smile all
Oh,
the
that's
time.
funny.
That, it's, smiles are free. So it's
Yes,
like,
yeah, it's universal.
Oh, it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile.
It does. It
Exactly.
does. And the
exactly.
thing is it's replicating. You know, you smile at somebody in the post office, they smile at the next person, and they smile at somebody at the grocery store, and it just
That is true.
like ripples in a pond.
Yeah.
That
So-
is so true.
Anyway, so, but now I love your banner because now if you have an automation thing, hey, I would encourage you to reach out to Rita. Just
I have a
because,
free gift for everybody.
well,
Oh,
now that's even
yay.
better.
I'm gonna put it in the
We
chat.
love free gifts.
Yes. Well, send it to me and I will attach it in the show notes.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
I mean,
I'll
put
send
it in
you-
put it in our little group chat.
I will.
And here too. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a funnel checklist. So it's everything you need to think about, kind of get your brain in line with these things that you're going to need when you're ready to build a funnel or think about building a funnel. And of course, certainly I can just help you put all those things in place, but it's a place to start.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a place like for me to decide, oh, maybe I could use a funnel. Maybe it would be valuable.
Right.
And I
Right.
mean, I know they're valuable and I've had them before, but like right now, I'm like, okay, you know.
Yeah, and sometimes for myself, sometimes I just need a suggestion.
Right.
Oh, just to start the ball rolling. That
Well-
your mental.
Yeah. Oh,
You know?
and it's so true. Just start the ball rolling because so many of my clients, as soon as I say, "Oh, we can do this and automatically send this and that," and then they go, "Oh, wait a minute. If I can do that, can I do this?" Oh, and of course, the answer is yes. Almost always with automation and systems, the answer is going to be yes. It's just how long will it take and what resources do we need to make it happen? But then once you say, "Oh, wait, if we're doing that, why don't we just tack this on?" And then it'll lead to that, and you'll start to figure out a lot of things that you can automate.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's what I'm so excited that it's going to just take some of the everyday stuff that I have been doing myself that I'm not going to have to do anymore.
Yeah, because it steals your
I'm
time,
excited.
right?
And that'll save room for our next venture.
I know.
Need to
Yeah,
put
tell
a
about our
shameless
next venture. Yeah.
Okay.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug here. We work in a wellness company. Y'all know that I challenged Barbara. She took the challenge, was not going to join me business wise by any means. And God said, "Barbara."
That's putting it nicely.
Barbara. So anyway, so we are doing a whole different channel on YouTube. I don't know if it's going to be on Facebook. We haven't gotten that far in our thought processes, but we are going to do a channel on YouTube called Salevo Zingers. And so if you wonder what we do in our
The wellness space.
collaboration for
Our wellness space.
wellness, you can go there and hear stories from people of how what we do has changed their life. And it you know, and y'all know my main claim to fame is a person that had 23 prescriptions, not pills, prescriptions, and is now on 2, and those are just a fraction of them. So and
That's
this person
amazing
went to
story.
the doctor the other day, and the doctor walked in and goes, "What are you doing? I am so impressed. What are you doing? You're your age and you're only on 1 prescription. What do you do? How do you do it?" And he's going, her. And so I said, well, truly, he's on 2, but those are, he was on 23.
Hardly any.
And as we talked, he said, I wouldn't have taken you for a patient back then. I would not even have taken you. One of our doctors we had during that time said, when you walked in my door the first time, I did not expect you to be alive in 6 months.
Yeah.
He'd waited and told us that about 2 years in. But yeah. So if you have health issues, I can't make medical claims, but if you have health issues and you want to know, what do I do about this? And what do I do about this? I can say, if it were me, this is what I would do. I can make claims on the ingredients, but I can't make claims on a product or a protocol.
On the results.
An approach.
Of course.
Anyway. So
Anyways.
that's our shameless plug. You're going to be able to go hear people's
wrote it down.
for themselves. So
And not anything that has zinger in it.
Yes.
yeah. So anyway,
Anyways.
any last words, Rita?
Well, I have loved this so much, and I'm so thankful to spend my morning with you both and all of your listeners and the people who follow you. And I'm just tickled that you invited me. And
Well, we're so glad that you came. It has been fun. It has been fun. Barbara, any last words before we say?
You know what? Just go out and do it. If you have a thought to do something, go out and do it, and don't let anybody tell you not to.
Yes, and if you don't know how, call
us. Let us know.
Call somebody else. Barbara and I met in a mentorship group, mentorship group, mastermind group, and they kept saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, and finally one day we said, I don't want to.
Let's just do it.
And everything. She goes, well, I don't want to do it. I said, I'll do it if you do it. She said, I'll do it if you'll do it. And here we are. Three channels later.
There you go.
So remember, everyone, you want to spiral up, whether it's your thoughts or your words. You have 300 trillion cells. Is it 300 or 3? 300.
3.7 trillion cells.
Yeah, 3.7 trillion cells eavesdropping on every thought.
Who are listening to every one of your thoughts.
So make sure that you
have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.